Hey everyone, this is Johnnyonoes, and I'm playing Subnautica the Infected update, and in this Let's Learn episode, I'm going to show you all the fragment locations on the map. We're going to start off with a couple of notes. The first note is to always look around a wreck, rather than going straight inside. A lot of the key components and the key fragments are going to be found outside, such as this the drill arm fragment for the prawn suit. This thing does not spawn inside a wrecks anymore. It always spawns outside of one of the two wrecks that it spawns in. The second note is going to be about the fact that a lot of these seeds that you get when you start the game, they're going to be random to where fragments are located. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you what I think is the topmost location to find a particular fragment, but I'm also going to give the next couple as well, so that if you don't find it in the number one location, you can always check those other locations as well. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to skip all the aesthetic items. I'm not going to go over, vending machines. I'm not going to go over coffee machines, or any of that sort of thing. This is primarily a way to find the fragments that are going to allow you to progress throughout the game. The last thing I'm going to note is all of the timestamps for each of these fragments are going to be located in the description of this video, so make sure to check out that if you have a particular fragment that you're trying to look for. Alright, let's get into it. The Seaglide fragments can be generally found in the Safe Shallows area. There are 3 wrecks that have them: Wreck 15, Wreck 16, as well as one wreck in the Kelp Forest, which is Wreck 18. But generally you can find this fragment just littered about the Safe Shallows area, but if you're having a hard time finding it, go ahead and check out one of those wrecks to be able to pick up 2 of these Seaglide fragments. Bioreactor fragments are extremely common and can be found in a lot of different wrecks. I tend to pick it up when I'm looking for the Seamoth in the Grassy Plateau wrecks, either Wreck 1 or 2. The list here shows all of the wrecks that they spawn in. You can find it in wrecks in the Grassy Plateau, you can find it in the Kelp Forest, as well as some of the wrecks in the Safe Shallows. The mobile vehicle bay can be found in a lot of different places, but the most common place to find them is also along with the Bioreactor in the Grassy Plateau biome wrecks, either Wreck 1 or 2. Battery charger fragments can be found in a lot of different wrecks, but I tend to pick this up when I head on over to the Grassy Plateau wrecks to pick up the Seamoth, along with the Bioreactor and the mobile vehicle bay. The Stillsuit fragments can be found in a lot of different wrecks, but I tend to pick this up generally whenever I'm going for the Seamoth in the Grassy Plateaus wreck, either 1 or 2. But I'll list out all the other wrecks that you can find the Stillsuit in case they don't spawn when you pick up your Seamoth. Seamoth fragments can be found littered about the map in the Grassy Plateaus biome, which is the red biome. If you can't find it littered about, you can always go to any of the wrecks in the Grassy Plateau. That's 1, 2, 12, 13, 14. And if you're still having a problem, you can always head into the Aurora, which has 2 fragments near the prawn suit room. The prawn suit can be unlocked by heading into the Aurora and heading on over to the prawn suit bay. Now, I've heard some reports that some people have had a hard time scanning all 4 of these suits, but as you can see, if you find the right angle, you'll be able to scan each one of these 4 suits to be able to unlock the prawn suit. You can see that this one's especially difficult. Like, I had to aim at the right knee of this particular suit. But you can get all 4 right here, so that way you don't have to find them in any of the wrecks. Propulsion Cannon fragments can be found almost everywhere on the map. The best place to pick it up, though, that is, if you don't have a Reaper hanging out in this area, is the area to the front left of the Aurora. There are quite a few of them kind of littered about, and they seem to be in these boxes. So if you see a box like this, just look inside, and you'll see a Propulsion Cannon fragment there. The Torpedo Arm fragment can be found in a lot of different wrecks. The one that I found it to be in all of my playthroughs was in the Underwater Islands wreck, which is Wreck 4. Just to let you know, though, that a lot of these prawn suit arm fragments are very randomized, so make sure if you don't find it in the Underwater Islands biome, try to get the others on the list here. The coveted Modification Station can be found in a lot of different areas, and sometimes you only find like 1 fragment, but the place that I found them more often than not was over at the Jelly Shroom base that's here. But keep in mind, though, there is a chance that the Jelly Shroom Cave base won't have anything around it. I've had a couple playthroughs where there was nothing here, but this one was the easiest one to get to. You can also find it in the Blood Kelp Trench, the Mountain Wrecks, Each one of them are very deep, but this is the one that you can hit if you happen to get the Seamoth, as well as the pressure compensator from the Aurora for the Seamoth, which gives you 300 meters depth. So this is probably the best place to pick it up, but I'll also list the others just in case you run into the same situation I did in a couple games where there was absolutely nothing here. The vehicle upgrade console can be found in the same place as the propulsion cannon, right outside the left-hand side of the front of the Aurora. And as you can see, it doesn't use the old model of a Fragment, nor does it have its own kind of model. It looks kind of like this rectangular box type shape. So if you see one of these, scan it and get that vehicle upgrade console all ready to go. Stasis Rifle fragments can be found in a lot of different places. The place that I tend to scan them the most, though, is on the floating island when I go on over here to, scan all the different base components that I need to start building a base. The Cyclops Engine fragments can be commonly found in the mountains biome. You can find them inside of some of the mountain wrecks, but the mountain wrecks tend to be really, really deep, so just check around the mountain and you'll be able to find all sorts of Cyclops engines just kind of littered about. The power cell charger fragments are extremely rare. I was only able to reliably find these in two different places. The first place is the Jelly Shroom Forest biome cave here, which has, the modification, the Moonpool, as well as the power cell charger fragments, and the underwater islands wreck. So if you don't have anything spawning next to this base here, head on over to the underwater islands wreck, which is Wreck 4, and give it a look, and it should be there. But I wasn't able to find this anywhere else, so if you're able to find it in other places, please let me know. The reinforced dive suit can primarily be found in the mountains biome, just hanging out right next to the Cyclops engine fragments. The prawn suit grappling arm fragments can be found generally in the area near the two wrecks in the Grand Reef, so that is Wreck 10 and 11. They can also be found in other wrecks too that I've listed here, but this is generally where I found it more often than not. The prawn suit propulsion arm fragment can be found in a lot of different wrecks, but where I found it the most was next to Wreck 19, which is one of the wrecks in the mountain biome. Moonpool fragments can be found in a lot of different locations, but where I found it the most is over at the Jelly Shroom cave base, along with the Modification Station, as well as the power cell charger. The alien containment fragments are very difficult to find, but the place that I found it that was also the easiest place to find it was over at the Sea Treaders wreck, which is Wreck 7. You can also find it in the Blood Kelp Trench wrecks, as well as the Grand Reef wrecks. The nuclear reactor fragments can also be found in the Jelly Shroom cave next to the base here, along with the Moonpool, the Modification Station, as well as the power cell chargers. The last blueprint that you can find in the Jelly Shroom caves is the water filtration machine. Now this thing is fully constructed, so all you have to do is scan it and you've got the blueprint. The Cyclops bridge and hull tend to spawn together. The place that I tend to pick it up from is either the Sea Treaders wreck, which is Wreck 7, or the Mushroom Forest biome. They happen to be just on the ground, just kind of laying around. Not even in any wrecks, but the Sea Treader wreck has some on the outside as well as the inside. So here's the Cyclops hull fragment. And over here is one of the bridge fragments. The power transmitter fragments can be found in the area right next to the Aurora, along with the vehicle upgrade console as well as the propulsion cannon. The scanner room fragments can be found generally in the locations or inside of either of the two Grand Reef wrecks, which is Wrecks 10 and 11. The Cyclops pressure compensator fragments can also be found in the Grand Reef areas, next to Wrecks 10 and 11. The thermal plant fragments can be found littered about the map in the Dunes biome, but you can also find it next to the Dunes wreck as well, which is Wreck 6. Now the most frustrating fragment of them all, the drill arm fragment for the prawn suit. This can be found most of the time around Wreck 11, but I also found it near or inside Wreck 10 as well. So go to the Grand Reef if you're looking for the drill arm fragment. Alrighty folks, that is all of the fragment locations for Subnautica the Infected update. If things change around in the future updates, I'll be sure to update this video. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next episode.